Chapter 66, Fight against Zhao Wuji, evenly matched. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The roar was as deafening as thunder and spread out in all directions. Feng Yao looked forward intently. I saw a short but muscular middle-aged man walking over slowly. The person coming is none other than Zhao Wuji from Shrek Academy. Feng Yao narrowed his eyes slightly and secretly circulated his soul power. Boy, it's just a sparring match. Do you think you have no one in Shrek Academy by doing such a heavy trick? As soon as Zhao Wuji appeared, he scolded with an angry face. Feng Yao sneered when he heard this. Sparring? If you are not as good as others, then stop talking such useless nonsense. What kind of competition? If you lose, you lose. Making excuses will only make yourself more embarrassed. Zhao Wuji's face darkened, with black lines on his face. He also witnessed the whole process from the second floor and knew that Feng Yao was right, but this kid obviously doesn't intend to give himself a chance. Boy, if you bully my students, the teacher will naturally come out to make trouble. My students can't let you bully me in vain. Thinking of what Tang Hao had done before, Zhao Wuji grinned. I'm level 76, and I won't bully you. I only use my martial soul, but not my soul skills. If you can stick with me for just one stick of incense, I will let you leave peacefully and I will no longer pursue you for bullying my students. He had suffered a little at the hands of that boy Tang San before, but Feng Yao could crush Tang San and the others on his own, and Zhao Wuji didn't dare to rely on him. Feng Yao raised his eyebrows, his eyes swept over Zhao Wuji. It was quite interesting to fight against a level 76 attack-type fighting soul saint. In the past, I only had to fight with Liu Erlong, an 85-level fighting spirit Douluo, with all my strength. Moreover, he can also rely on his recovery ability to slightly defeat Liu Erlong, who is restricted. But Liu Erlong couldn't afford to lose. She had agreed not to use the martial soul avatar, but every time she got a little anxious, she would forget what she had said. This makes it very difficult for myself. Facing Zhao Wuji, Feng Yao wanted to leave, but the other party couldn't do anything about him. If the opponent was Flanders, then he might still be afraid of 3 points, but even if he faces Flanders, he can solve it directly as long as he moves out Liu Erlong. He doesn't want to expose his 100,000-year-old soul bone just yet, and the flying soul skill of this soul bone is too slow. He has the roar of a tiger, and his full speed can match the title. What can Zhao Wuji do? Thinking of this, Feng Yao's heart was filled with fighting spirit, and he said calmly, "Please enlighten me." "Good boy, that's interesting." Zhao Wuji was gearing up, his face full of excitement. After being beaten so hard, he was already hungry and thirsty. He wished he could pick up Tang San and give him a blast with a hammer, but it was a pity that he didn't dare. A stick of incense appeared in his hand. Zhao Wuji crushed it with 2 fingers, and the incense was ignited directly. Then it was inserted into the ground not far away by Zhao Wuji. "Boy, you can start now. I want you to take the first shot." Zhao Wuji said calmly, crossing his arms. Feng Yao's head armor blocked his face, making it difficult for people to see his face clearly, but the raised corners of his mouth made Zhao Wuji frown slightly. Everyone present was waiting for Feng Yao's move. They looked at Feng Yao with sarcasm, excitement, curiosity, and shock. However, what responded to them was the 4 soul rings rising from Feng Yao's feet. 4 soul rings. 1 yellow, 2 purple, and 1 black, shone with dazzling brilliance and slowly rose. This terrifying soul ring ratio made everyone present look shocked, especially Tang San, whose face was full of disbelief. "This is impossible," the teacher clearly said. "Don't be distracted." Seeing that everyone including Zhao Wuji had distracted eyes and looked dumbfounded, Feng Yao's faint words reached Zhao Wuji's ears. "I saw the 2 purple soul rings on Feng Yao's body flashing at the same time, and the power emanating from Feng Yao's body instantly increased by several levels. Born to fight, fight to the death." Feng Yao shouted loudly and suddenly stepped on the ground. His soul power gathered under his feet and exploded instantly, and his figure disappeared in an instant. "What?" Zhao Wuji's pupils shrank and he subconsciously turned around. However, just when Zhao Wuji turned around, a sonic boom sounded in front of him. When Zhao Wuji saw a silver figure out of the corner of his eye, he had just reacted and his soul power had just begun to operate when his face was directly hit by Feng Yao's punch. Boom. Soul Saint is still Soul Saint after all. After flying more than 10 meters tightly, Zhao Wuji forcibly stabilized his figure in the air. At this time, Zhao Wuji held his face, half hunched over, a trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and his face was extremely ugly. He just felt dizzy now, as if he had been hit by a heavy hammer. In a moment of carelessness, he actually said it directly, "This kid looks to be about the same age as Mubai, his soul power is already as high as the soul sect level, and he has such a terrifying soul ring ratio. Could this kid have been trained by some force or title Douluo? Could it be the Wuhuan Palace? If it was really the Wuhuan Palace, there must be someone following him, and he might also have to." Feng Yao saw Zhao Wuji's eyes moving around and didn't say a word. Ignoring the looks of Tang San and others, he rushed towards Zhao Wuji again. Being distracted while fighting is a big no-no. Feng Yao quickly approached Zhao Wuji, leaving an afterimage with each fist fight. Martial spirit, possessed. Zhao Wuji let out a bear roar from his mouth, and the shadow of a powerful diamond bear appeared behind him. Brown hair also grew on the surface of his body. His originally extremely hard muscles also grew in size and were full of power. Bang bang bang. The two sides collided instantly. Although Zhao Wuji has rich fighting experience, most of his fighting skills in Douluo Continent rely on soul skills. Without soul skills, they are like sick cats without teeth and claws. Facing Feng Yao's stormy and measured attack, Zhao Wuji suddenly became a little confused, just like Dai Mubai before. But there is a saying that goes well, "I can make many mistakes, you can only make one mistake." After being possessed by Zhao Wuji's martial spirit, his defensive power is also very strong. Sometimes, by taking advantage of the gap created by facing Feng Yao's attack head-on, he would strike back at Feng Yao. Zhao Wuji's soul power fluctuations belonging to Soul Saint were all released. Strength, speed, defense, all are extremely powerful. Moreover, why does it feel like his power and speed can be superimposed? If he keeps fighting like this, he might really be embarrassed in front of these little bastards. Using a strategy of exchanging injuries for injuries, the two sides exchanged punches and retreated at the same time. Looking at Feng Yao, who was repelled by him, his breathing was still steady. Zhao Wuji was already shouting crazily in his heart, "Are all young people today so perverted? Boy, tell me your name." "I am the vice president of Shrek Academy." Zhao Wuji did not disclose his name because he was really worried that the other party was from Wuhuan Palace. Seeing that Zhao Wuji seemed to be worried, he obviously didn't want to continue the fight. Feng Yao's depression because he couldn't find the man-faced demon spider was vented a lot at this time. "I am a student of Lanba College in Tiando City, and Liu Erlong, the dean of the college, is my teacher. She was also the Killing Horn, one of the golden iron triangles on the continent, an 85th level fighting spirit Douluo. I wonder if seniors have ever heard of it." "What?" When Zhao Wuji heard this, he was suddenly shocked. "Golden Triangle, isn't that the title that Flanders guy used to have? 85 level fighting spirit Douluo. It's going to happen. Isn't the other teacher's commander nearby?" Noticing the sudden change in Zhao Wuji's expression, Feng Yao raised the corner of his mouth imperceptibly. "I am no longer a helpless person, it's nice to use your power to overwhelm others." P.S. When Zhao Wuji and Tang San fought, they basically focused on defense and basically didn't attack much, so please don't say anything like, "Tang San can defeat Zhao Wuji, but the protagonist can't." Chapter 67 Reprimand. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhao Wuji felt relieved at this time. "If the fight continues, I will definitely use soul skills, otherwise I will definitely be defeated by this kid." Moreover, this kid has not used all his strength, he has only used 2 soul rings, and his breath is very stable. If he was defeated by a soul sect, and if this kind of thing spread, how could he have the face to hang out in front of these little brats? Now that I heard that the other party's teacher was actually related to Flanders, I suddenly had an idea in my mind. Speaking of which, we can't be considered acquainted without fighting. Feng Yao looked at Zhao Wuji with interest through his goggles. "Oh. What do you mean, senior?" Zhao Wuji laughed, his face softened a little, and he said softly, "My name is Flanders, the dean of Shrek Academy. I am also a member of the Golden Iron Triangle you call me. It seems like some kind of flying horn. I wonder if you've heard that from your teacher." but when you hear the name Liu Erlong, you can tell that she is a woman. Zhao Wuji had also seen Flanders drinking alone, the same as the Golden Iron Triangle. His smart little mind is very sensitive to these gossipy things. I thought of many things in an instant. It turns out that Flanders, whom my teacher often mentioned, is the dean of our Shrek Academy. That's a coincidence. Feng Yao said in surprise. Feng Yao, please forgive me for what happened just now. Hey. Zhao Wuji waved his hand. If their skills are inferior to others, they can only blame themselves. Except for the unconscious Ma Hongjun, Shrek and others all had their mouths wide open and their eyes were full of disbelief. It was clear that they were fighting passionately just now, but in the blink of an eye, they seemed to have become friends. Tang San's eyes flashed sharply. Bastard, this guy is so lucky that he has a Contra as his teacher. Dai Mubai, who was leaning on Oscar, looked at everything with bared teeth. Looking at this situation, Zhao Wuji obviously didn't want to continue taking action, as he seemed to have some concerns before. My plan was in vain, and the fat guy, Dai Mubai glanced at the unconscious Ma Hongjun beside him, whose face was charred and black, and sighed silently in his heart. You little bastards, what are you still looking at here? Oscar, why don't you take Mubai and Hongjun back to heal their injuries? A group of people didn't win a single fight. After returning from the Star Do Forest this time, everyone's training doubled. Looking at the few people who were still here to watch his joke, Zhao Wuji spat and cursed angrily. Yes. Oscar shuddered and struggled to support the two people leaning on him. Mistress, hurry up, come and help me, the fat man is so heavy. Hearing this, Tang San glanced at Feng Yao, hiding the unhappiness in his eyes, and silently came to Oscar's side. Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Rongrong looked at each other and followed the four of them silently without saying a word. When passing by Feng Yao, several people looked at Feng Yao with complicated eyes. Ning Rongrong in the back could not help but be excited, but her head was lowered so that no one could see her face clearly. Zhu Zhuqing's eyes glowed green, and he looked at Feng Yao as if he were looking at a treasure. After a few people left, Zhao Wuji walked up to Feng Yao and said softly, "Little friend, did you come to the Star Do Forest to get a soul ring breakthrough? If so, why don't we go together? Afterwards, we can just go to our Shrek Academy to have a look. If that guy Flanders knows that his former partner has a disciple, he will definitely want to meet him." Feng Yao thought for a moment and shook his head. "Thank you for your kindness, but no need. When I go out, I am followed by elders from the college. They live in another part of the town. Since there are not enough rooms, I go out alone." Zhao Wuji nodded, not saying anything, but also thinking in his heart. Immediately, the two returned to the hotel one after another. On the way, Zhao Wuji recalled that there was another person from Tsanhui College. He was about to take action again, but found that he had disappeared. Even their students disappeared from the hotel and disappeared without a trace. He ran pretty fast. Zhao Wuji muttered a few words in a low voice. "It's really unpleasant. It seems like hitting someone." At this moment, Zhao Wuji felt that he had no power to use and was very uncomfortable. Inside the hotel, everyone in Shrek gathered together at this time, looking at Ma Hongjun and Dai Mubai lying on the bed. Everyone lowered their heads and remained silent. Zhao Wuji was looking at the injuries of the two people with a sad look on his face. For a long time, Oscar couldn't hold it in anymore and asked softly, "Teacher Zhao, how are the situation of Boss Dai and Fatty?" Zhao Wuji frowned slightly and sighed. "The situation is not bad. The opponent's attack was quite measured. Mubai only suffered some fractures, a few broken bones, and some internal injuries. Hongjun only suffered burns on the surface of his skin and was knocked unconscious by the explosion. No big deal." When Oscar heard this, his mouth opened wide, his eyes filled with disbelief. Dai Mubai, who was awake, also had his eyes widened. "Do you want to hear what you are saying? Is this also called okay? No big deal. Didn't you already give Mubai and Hongjun some recovery sausages?" Zhao Wuji stood up, glanced at Oscar, and said calmly, "They didn't hurt the roots. They will be almost recovered in 2 days. Don't worry, my presence will not affect the subsequent soul hunting." "Teacher Zhao, are we just going to let that Feng Yao go?" Tang San frowned slightly. "Boss Dai and Fatty were so seriously injured, why don't we just not pursue the case?" Zhao Wuji originally looked very calm, but when he heard Tang San's words, he instantly became gloomy. I get angry when I say this. Can you tell me why the 6 of you combined have never defeated a soul sect? Tang San's eyes flashed, and he glanced at Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Rongrong, saying nothing. Ning Rongrong not only has the title of Little Witch, she is also the daughter of the leader of the Qibao Glazed sect, and she also has a sensitive heart. When Tang San looked over, she also noticed it. Feeling a little unhappy, he stood up very bachelorly and said calmly, Teacher Zhao, when the battle started, Dai Mubai asked us not to take action. He wanted to do it alone. Dai Mubai, who was lying on the bed, almost spit out a mouthful of blood when he heard this. This is pressing his face to the ground and rubbing it repeatedly. Then why didn't you and Zhu Zhuqing go to help when Hong Jun took action later, or even when Tang San took action? When Fatty took action, didn't Tang San also not take action? Why should we only be blamed? That before Ning Rongrong came to the Star Do forest, she was still thinking about how to integrate into Shrek. But when he saw Dai Mubai being beaten violently, he felt much relieved. Zhu Zhuqing lowered his head and said nothing, but silently moved closer to Ning Rongrong. P.S. I want to add more, but I'm still typing. There may be another chapter before 12 o'clock, it was too cold, so I did it under the covers with my cell phone.